Welcome to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here with Dr. Jeffrey Katz, clinical psychologist, and his wife, Mindy Katz, ADHD coach. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
I'm springing this on them a little bit, so this is kind of a fun interview for me, but both of them work with those with ADHD. One in diagnosis and one in kind of coaching. Can you tell me a little bit about, because you guys work together a little bit, can you tell me a little bit about the process and kind of transition and how you guys work together to create a real good experience for those in need?
Well, I would say oftentimes I'm getting a referral. An adult will call, but they've been referred by a physician or somebody about their ADD. Maybe they've been diagnosed, maybe they haven't been, but they'll come to me for kind of the clinical diagnosis, for the clinical side of it, and I'm able to bring them in and let's say I've diagnosed them, discuss treatment. So you go through the standard treatment, which these days really also includes coaching. And oftentimes what that person needs is not me in the end. What they really need is somebody like Mindy.
So when you say treatment, which you said, which includes Mindy, but what's between the diagnosis and her in terms of regular treatment from your perspective?
Well, it's having discussions about medication, discussions about therapy if that's indicated, and sometimes people do bring things to that. It's about, depending if they're in college or school or work, about accommodations that might be helpful, but having some discussion with them about that.
Okay.
But generally, if it's an adult, they're really talking about some of the issues they have with organization, getting things done. Or I'll see a college student who's not getting their master's degree finished because they can't get the thesis taken care of. And I can be helpful somewhat, but Mindy as a coach has skills that I really don't have.
So I want to ask you in a second, but first, what is it that she does?
She's a coach.
I know that, but what does she do?
I tell people that I can talk to them about schedules, and I can talk to them in some about motivating, but she has so many more techniques, styles, the way she talks about things, very strength-based, very positive, and not that I don't think I am, but I just think I'm more clinically oriented. I'm a clinical psychologist. That's what I do. And I think Mindy, as a coach, she knows how to direct people better, how to draw them out. They have a lot of fun in her office.
Well, Mindy, would you say that you have a different mindset in the approach? Because I'm hearing you're trained in clinical side, so you were looking from that lens, and then it comes over, you're kind of coming at it from a different angle. Is that accurate?
Well, I think my angle is more focused. It's more, what do you want to accomplish? And I think it's also more, I'm more direct. I'm not waiting for things to percolate up. It's less about their background, their family of origin. It's more about what you want to do and what's getting in your way. So I hear you saying that you want to do one thing, but you're actually doing something else.
So very point of performance, so you're getting into the trenches and leaving the more diagnostic stuff behind and kind of getting right into it. Was that accurate?
I think that's very good. And what's interesting, sometimes people get the evaluation and they have to sit with it for a while because a lot of ADHD people think they can do it on their own. They can handle it. Now that I know, it's all good. But sometimes after that sits with them for a while and they try it out, you realize they need a little bit more support than they thought they did. And coaching sometimes very quickly can help them move forward.
Have you ever diagnosed, you're working with somebody and then have to find it helpful to go back and collaborate with him a little bit on a particular individual?
Well, I have the most amazing opportunity that most coaches don't have. I have a mentor right in the next office. So when I need to know information about ADHD, any kind of processing, any learning disabilities, how it all fits together, I get to ask the expert. I also very often have an evaluation that he's already done to refer to see where their strengths and their challenges are.
That sounds very advantageous, particularly if you guys are working in the same office to the same end. Do you feel like you have like an advantage in the process just because of your proximity and the way you guys work together? Because a lot of coaches are not physically housed in offices with other psychologists.
I think in some ways it makes people feel very comfortable. I think there's already an introduction. they know how I come at ADD, and I do very positive about it, and I think they know, since that's where I'm coming, she's probably pretty close to that. So she's a very much more known entity, I think.
And I think there's a trust that that they're being taken care of, and that it's quality. You know, sometimes coaches represent themselves as things that they're not trained for, and this way they're assured that that I have the supervision from a professional, and my expertise is guaranteed. And if I don't know something, I have a supervisor essentially to check in with.
It's one of the things that's very interesting. I always have to watch myself, because after interviewing the experts all the time, sometimes I have to be careful. I'm not a mental health professional. I have to back up and say and refer to it. To me, I would love to have somebody like him in the office, because every once in a while I've got a question about this person. You know, their memory doesn't seem right. Maybe get a question, and I can get that answer. Can be really beneficial.
And I think it's also because both of us are very interested in ADD and very involved in the community. As a team, we know a lot about ADD. So we bring a lot of different perspectives in, and I think that's really very, very helpful for people. Mindy doesn't need supervision for what she does. She says supervision, but it's more collaboration, and I think people understand that. And I think we both think in the same way. And
the impact of you guys working together on the individual or families that you're working with, how would you describe that?
I would like to think it's very good. I mean, I think so.
Yeah, I think folks don't have to, it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to worry about your care team coordinating or speaking to each other. You know that if things come up, the other person knows about it.
I think it's also that we're in practice together. It's not a large practice. People don't have to go through a waiting room with a lot of people there. And I think people feel very much taken care of. I mean, I like to think that they feel taken care of by us. They're comfortable in the offices. They can bring their kids in, like in my office. I'll be on the floor playing with kids or doing whatever. And I think they feel comfortable that way, in that they're respected for who they are. And we see the ADD as maybe part of who they are, and we love it.
Well, I have to tell you, honestly, I'm a little jealous because I would certainly work. I work in collaboration with some mental health professionals in my area, but I think so much more could be done by integrating that process. And I think that in a certain extent, you're a pioneer. I know there's a lot of other organizations that are trying to try to help the community come together, be more inclusive in multimodal treatments for better outcomes. And so I'm jealous, Mindy. For those who want to learn more about your practice, your website?
My website is yourlife-planb.com. And
Dr. Katz, your website?
It's drjeffreykatz.com, drjeffreykatz.com.
And the Katz they both work in Norfolk, Virginia Beach. So with that, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
It was great having you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Take care.